Have you here. If you're here for the normal 9 o'clock Wednesday session, just know that this is actually day three of a 4-day challenge. We do this on this day, and we cover it off here. But don't worry, I will be recapping day one and day two very quickly at the start of this call, and giving you links to be able to see day one and day two, which is all in the community. But excited to share that and hopefully show you some different ways to be able to generate inquiries from the wonderful LinkedIn. Let's just show you that, by the way. Oh, let me just jump onto this. So if you're not in this community here, LinkedIn for Breakfast, this is where the challenge is. If you're ever looking for, and I think someone mentioned in the chat, where's the replays? You can see here, day one, action plus replay, and there's the video here. Day two, action plus replay, and you can click on this and work it through here. Just click on the button and this takes you through to day two of it here. Good stuff. And you can see day two on the thumbnail there. And there's not a day one on there, but obviously the day two is in there for you to see. And clearly today there will be an action post again at the top, and we'll pin it. And people can then show us how they got on. And look, we got 36 comments of people working on day two, 111 of people getting help and support for day one. So what actually was day one and day two? Well, let's just kind of give you an idea for what we're building here. So this is the end-to-end system of what we're building over the first few days. So day one was all about priming your profile, so getting your header right, knowing who we're trying to target when we're spending time on LinkedIn, and also crafting an outreach message, a bit of a straight to the point message. Day two was then all about taking that message and hitting what we call the 80 messages a day, the 80 club. And so sending 80 DMs to your first degree connections in the day. And the reason why 80 is chosen, I'll explain a little bit more. It will kind of fit in and make sense in a second. And then what we'll be talking about tomorrow is around this nudge campaign, and working through that. We'll also be talking a little bit today around this calendar booking system. So actually, when we get people to book, I know we've probably got calendars, but actually, how do we set the thing up properly with the right messaging, etc. So we just want to think about that to make sure that if we are DMing and working through a system, then actually have we set it up correctly, right? And the whole point of this is to bring people into some sort of sales meeting, and then from there sell them onto your product. So that's the end-to-end system we're building over the next 4 days. Cool. Yesterday we talked about sending out your 80 messages to your first degree connections. Why do we send out these messages to your first degree connections? Well, you can send, a few hundred messages a day to your first degree connections. You can't send thousands, but you can send lots of DMs to people who are already connected to you. Whereas on LinkedIn, sending connection requests, you can only do about 20 a day, 100 a week, because there's the limit to that. But you can send a huge volume of people a DM, a message. So that's what we want to use. We want to harness that because, of course, your current connections are probably people who have seen your stuff, maybe seen or know you a little bit, maybe they're old connections. So it's well worth actually going through and shaking the tree and see what falls out. So the action from yesterday was to target 80 first degree connection target audience members and send them the message we created on day one. And if anybody's not sure what the day one message is, if you go into the community here, you can see day one actions, and everybody's been listing them out here. But my one, which I was first here, is this. So, hi, don't want to take much of your time, so let me get straight to the point. We're looking to partner with expert entrepreneurs who are awesome at what they do, but need more clients. We run a lead generation and sales accelerator done specifically for experts, and we think you'd be a great fit. I would love to schedule a call next week to show you more. So the whole point of this is a very straight to the point message, and it works. Being a bit more direct actually can bear far more fruit than just kind of messaging and not really having a point, etc. Sometimes it's actually good to be straight to the point, and that's why it helps. Okay, so that's the plan, and you can go through that on the replay for day one. But just to kind of fill the gaps for anybody that's coming in midway through this challenge. Okay, so just put it into the room. How did we find yesterday? Who wants to share how they got on yesterday? Um, who wants to share? I can see your hands up there, Ronnie, but I don't think that was from if from sharing.
Uh, Probably it's part of that. I think I got it wrong because I wasn't using first connections. Because when I got to 29 messages, it stopped allowing me to enter a message. I could save. So in other words, what I did was I did a sort on Navigator filter, got the people, and then went through them, saved and message,
Yeah.
not bulk. When I got to 29, it allowed me to save, but no more messages. So is that because I wasn't using anyway? That was my one problem.
Were you so if you're on Sales Navigator,
Yes.
were you first degree connections with these people?
No,
No,
no.
so you're not sending first degree messages, you're sending in mails. And so there's a limit to the amount of in mails you can send. And the in mails are a totally different type of message. They sit in a different hopper within LinkedIn. And there
Okay.
is a limit to them. So if I just share screens here, guys, just to help you. So if you're sending in mails, this is not what we're doing. You can get some benefit of in mails. To be honest with you, I use in mails more for recruitment than actual messaging. We've got to actually have LinkedIn up. That's a new, not seeing LinkedIn on a tab is unusual for me. So when you receive, you've probably all seen the inbox in LinkedIn. You're going to have two types of inboxes. You're going to have, oh, hello, get rid of that, get rid of that. So you've got focused, and then you've got other, right? And so the other is look, in mail, right? Or via, and so this is the best marketing ever, right? So this via is someone's talking to me from a group. These are in mails. And so basically, via brand positioning. So it's basically messaging that is not my normal kind of first degree ones, right? And so hence why this is far more likely to be better and you want to be in this feed because I don't even personally even go into this field. Look, there is an in-mail feed. If someone really wants to see their in-mails, that's great. But ultimately, really, you don't want this. You want to be working on your focused, okay? You can even see my connections. So you can just see people who are my connections. So some people might just even only have that. So you want to be in the best place possible, which is why we do this to first degrees. And if you haven't got enough first degrees, then that's one of the things that we're going to work on today. Make sense?
Okay. Thank you. So that's probably what my problem was.
That was definitely the problem. Yeah, no worries. Who else? Who did some messaging yesterday? And who got some around it? How did it go? And we had an interim.
Yeah, absolutely excruciating. And I did have to think about the message for each one. So it felt good to do it. And I've had some responses, but my focus is on not-for-profit sector. So they're all saying they haven't got any money or they're retiring. But I found it really, really excruciating. But I only did 40. So I want to do another 40 today just to try and get over that feeling of, oh gosh, this is awful.
And when you're tailoring it, and the whole point of this is, what if they're connected with you and you're not asking or not doing something on this, then the opportunity you're not hunting an opportunity.
Mm.
You're not doing this. So you obviously feel good enough to be able to do another 40 today, which is what it's all about. And it's about that slow momentum over time. It's about building because what you're doing is you're going to a completely bare field and you're just scattering a load of seeds. And then today you're going to scatter 40 more seeds,
Yeah.
and tomorrow the day after you're going to scatter some more. And what will happen is green shoots and conversations. And although some people are coming back to you saying, yeah, not for me, you're you can continue that conversation and start saying, oh, cool. Well, do you know anybody who might be interested? then now we're in conversation. You're talking to those people. And it's good to reply back and have that conversation because, of course, LinkedIn, it will see if you're just sending lots of messages, not getting any replies, then that's not going to be, in terms of your SSI, social selling index, and that will have a little bit of effect on it. It's not masses, but it's about kind of when you get replies to have a good conversation with people. I think that's always important to do it and to find if there's other referrals they can give you.
Thank
So
you.
example. But good, well done for doing it. Dawn, over to you.
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Barbara. That was really candid, and I did feel quite similar when I first started. I was totally overthinking it, and like, oh, would I like to receive a message like this? Oh, I'm not sure. And then I got into a bit of a rhythm and just thought I feel really good that I'm actually doing something proactive rather than just the odd post here and there and the odd comment. Like I'm actually, yeah, here I am, and if it's either going to be for someone or not. I only got one reply. I did 80. I did it in like 2 blocks, and it was a thanks, but noted for the future. So I felt a little bit disheartened, but I'm like, well, okay, go again. But I'm actually thinking maybe I will target a sector. And so I might actually say I'm working with, the law sector. And so maybe I might try that. That's my gut feel. But yeah, maybe it takes a few days and to actually, get anybody's, the more that you do it, the more chances you'll get.
Exactly. And also not everybody's on LinkedIn all the time.
Yeah.
And also you've got to tweak the message, right? So the message might also not be right out of the bat. But it's
Yeah.
about, as you say, you're going and you're being proactive. You're still doing content, but you're being proactive. And so these connections are seeing you in the inbox as well as they're seeing you on the feed, which is important. If anybody is starting to see and reading stuff, then you are more likely to come up in their feed as well. Like it. Well done, Dawn. Richard, over to you.
Yes, I did it. I mean, it took me 8 hours, but I did it.
How did it take you 8 hours?
Yeah, it was just, yeah. But I did it, I did it. And I think part of it, some of that was because I knew these people, and it would be just really weird to send a generic message to someone I obviously know. That would just be very weird. And then and as I was going along, I just saw ways I could improve the message. So I was also like refining the message as I went along. But I've got to be honest, I got just exhilarated for having done it. I mean, I remember speaking to a saleswoman once, she's brilliantly successful, and she says, I would never leave the office unless I've done 100 cold calls in the day. And I was like, how, that was just beyond my comprehension that someone could do 100 cold calls in a day. And I'd actually done 20 emails from an email campaign today, all handcraft yesterday, I mean. So I actually did over 100 like outreaches, which is probably 5 times more than I've ever done in my life. So just grateful for having like done it. It's going to make 40 seem a lot easier.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, this and congratulations. It's awesome to be able to get it out because again, the opportunity is sitting there potentially going to happen. And God knows how many times I've had people respond to me saying, "Oh, crikey, I completely missed your message. Yeah, I'd love to have a chat." And it's like 2 weeks later. So that work is putting the potential opportunity out there. And as you would have seen as you're tailoring those messages, you're going, "Oh, crikey, I completely forgot I was connected to Dave, how are you, Dave?
That's some of them. That's all I did. Like I just said, hey, it's been a while. Do you want a coffee? It just wouldn't have made sense to do, the template. That was one of the reasons.
Exactly. Well, I'd love to see how that, how those type of messages then start to bear fruit for you over time. There were other people. I think we had. There was a few other ones to share on here, so we'll move on to today's content. But I just wanted to also give, I'll go to Mia as well, but I also wanted to give a shout out. I think who I just saw someone that I was going to use, Jill here. So she got 80 done and 1 meeting booked already, which is awesome. So delighted about that. So she's getting meetings booked. Mia, the last one over to you, and then we will get started on today's activity. Go for it.
Yes, sorry. Just the difficulty that I had was, what took me longer, was that I had to do a lot more checking on profiles because my target market is 40 plus women. So you imagine the minefield that is of 40 plus women, because you just can't tell. It's difficult. And because of past experience where I had a negative comment in the past, I think it did put me off. But however, I did go into this yesterday going, LinkedIn is a professional setting. It's not like going onto Facebook and Instagram and messaging on there where it's a social setting. Yes, I am talking about personal things. However, these people must be prepared for somebody inboxing them for something. So I have to go in with a positive mindset around it rather than a negative mindset around it. However, I'm just wondering how to approach if they do respond negatively, because thankfully I've had some positive responses from people that are under 40 saying, ha ha ha, I'm not quite yet 40 yet. And they've been quite good about it, which is I've been really grateful for. And I'm now going to respond with some sort of message to say, look, please bear me in mind for referrals, and I will give you something for it. But I'm just wondering what your recommendation is.
I think sometimes, remember, it's only your feelings that is the problem. If someone responds negative to you because you sent them a message saying, hey, I do an over 40s, fitness thing, and they're like, well, I'm not 40, and they're rude, well, you can either be offended by them being rude or just go next and then move on to the next one, right? Yeah, no drama.
Yes,
and so it's only you versus you. It's not them. It's nothing to do with them. It's just you versus you. And if you're going to feel upset about it, no worries. If you're being, if it's, it just basically just move on. That's the outreach. This is the point. So it goes back to Richard's thing about that colleague that had 100 calls, wouldn't leave the office. It's about being completely unemotional about hitting the numbers, because the numbers are the thing. The more calls you make, the more DMs you send, the luckier you get, right? The more calls you get in the diary, the more sales you made. Who would have thought, right? And so, you can be the best kept secret in the world if you want to be. Just don't DM anybody. Or you can go let everybody know that you're open for business and this is what you do and you want to buy some. And the people that do that, do you see the people that tend to be like the gurus, right? They're the ones that seem to be the ones that sending loads of messages, and like they're the ones that people go, oh, they're like a spammer. They send so much, and yet they built big businesses that are doing really well. It's because they're sending out messages. They're getting potential opportunities. It's like running ads. They're people who run ads do really well because they are sending out their message. This is another form of advertising. It's just in the DM. So do remember that. Dawn, I'm not going to take your question now. I'm going to jump into this because we are already behind schedule. So we're going to jump into that. So I hope that helped. We'll do the question at the end for sure. So what are we going to do today? Today we're going to cover this middle piece where we are booking people into appointments and how we're going to do that. So we're going to write the connection message. So we're going to do connection requests to get new people going in. We're going to send 20 target audience members a bespoke connection request. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to formalize your strategy session booking system. And we're going to create a quick lead qualification plan to make sure we've got the right people. And we're going to create a yes to booking reply template. So we've got quite a few bits to go through. So let's talk about the 100 Club. So we are going to ask you 4 days a week to hit the 100 Club. Okay, now this is a big one. And the reason why we do this is on a normal week, Monday, Tuesday, you're going to hit the 100 Club. Wednesday, you're just going to hit the 20 Club, and then Thursday, Friday, you can hit the 100 Club. And we're going to talk about that a little bit tomorrow about actually how this works. But that means 80 DMs in a day and 20 connection requests. And that works well. Now, the beauty of this is that actually on Thursday, Friday, you're nudging the people that you messaged on Monday, Tuesday. So you're not having to go and find another 80 people on Thursday and another 80 people on Friday. So don't fret if you struggle to get through the 80. It's a lot easier on Thursday and Friday, but you're essentially opening up 160 potential opportunities in your first degree connections per week. That's how this works, right? But let's go back down into this 20 to make up the 100. So we know how to do the 80. We did that yesterday. The 20 piece, the 80 goes out to the low hanging fruit, but the 20 piece, oh, hello, the 20 connection request piece goes out to new people. So where we were doing the search here, gang, where on day one we were going onto LinkedIn, we were going in to do a search. So say we're talking about marketing agency plus founder. That's who we wanted to talk about.
Hello, Richard speaking.
And then we went on to this list and we thought, okay, so if we put marketing agency plus founder and we went for the location of the United Kingdom and showed result, the potential opportunity was 2,100 people. Okay. Then to do our 80, we went first degree connections and went, okay, I've got 300 people who I can go and target with my straight to the point message because these are the people I'm already connected to. So now what we want to do is work out, well, actually, who are that target audience who are now second and third degrees? So this is second, and then if we add third degrees in, that tells me the entire opportunity. There's 2,000 people who potentially could be connections of mine. So we're simply going to be going through this list and pressing connect, 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 and we're going to be connecting with these people. Now that's what we're going to do. So we're going to, again, have a list to go, right, we want to do 20 connection requests, and then we want to do 80 direct messages. So when we're doing these connection requests, what I suggest to you is probably just familiarity, untick third degrees, and now you've got the lovely thing, your list here. And if you've sent a connection request previously, it will have it pending here. So you're not going to worry about going back. So tomorrow you'll go and see a load of them that are pending, and then you just start at the bottom of the pendings and then send more, because not everybody's going to accept it in the same day. Some of them won't accept it at all. And we're going to send out one of these three potential messages, right? So this is what I would call the semi-familiar asks, okay? So the top one is basically saying, hey, LinkedIn showed me your profile multiple times now. I thought I'd reach out, right? So that's basically saying, hey, LinkedIn's telling us we should be friends. Now that works really nicely, particularly if you're not going, well, sorry, if you're not going for a industry sector and you're doing something a little bit kind of like, you know, if you're trying to go for 40 plus women and there's no real kind of thing to hang it off, that could be like an intrigue. So I'm going to chuck these into the chat as we do it. So in case anybody likes each one, we'll be doing this. And here we go, paste. So that's the top one. And then this one's the one that I do. Okay, so this is exactly the one that I send. I say, hi, first name is Richard. So that's going, like, that's a semi-familiar ask. It's like, hi, Dave, it's Richard. Like almost like it's Richard. You remember Richard? You know, so you're almost presuming they might remember you, even though you know that they don't. And just a friendly coach to coach hello. So, hey, I'm not a threat. We're both coaches. I'm just saying hello. How's things? You know? And so actually, to be honest, I do how's things in this crazy world. There you go. That's actually, and that small little bit that we've added on has a great effect, the crazy world bit, because everybody will come, most people come back to me on this, will be like, oh yeah, the world is crazy, isn't it? You know, and then they'll say something like, God, can't believe what Trump's doing at the moment, or can you believe, whatever, like, do you know what I mean? Like everybody will kind of reflect what they feel their crazy is back on it, or they'll say the market's nuts, isn't it? Or other people will say, it's crazy, but actually it's going great over here. And it just gets people into more of a conversation. They just open up a little bit better with something along those lines. And if it's not like a coach hello, you could just do, hi, it's Richard, just a friendly hello. How's things? I just quite like this coach to coach bit, and if you're not selling to people who are similar to you, you could be just saying, you could be talking about the industry sector that you're in, or you could be just saying just a friendly, UK business hello. You could use the location, or you could say just a friendly London business hello if you're You could just say just a friendly hello from London. How's things in this crazy world, you know? So you could be doing that. So can you see, I'm just trying to give you a little bit more for them to sort of hang a familiar beat, like, oh, okay, we're both from London, or we're both coaches, or, you know, we're both in the UK, you know, whatever it is, something along those lines. Okay. So they're good. I use this one. And then the pattern interrupt, which is quite fun. Or actually, I put this in there, which is basically tell a joke. And this is an awful joke, but we go with it. I'm a dad twice, so I'm twice qualified to tell these type of jokes. So you say something like, how many therapists does it take to change a light bulb? Just one, but the light bulb must really want to change. Jokes aside, I love to connect, right? And so obviously with this type of joke, you're targeting therapists or people right? So it's a crappy joke, but it's just something that's a little bit of a pattern interrupt, whatever it might be. You know, or you could do something like, have you seen what's happening with this? I just want to reach out because there's this thing over here that I should show you. So just something that people go, oh, okay, so you want to stand out in the inbox. So maybe something like that could work really nicely, right? So have a play. I've stopped there. Sue says it's a great joke. Thanks, Sue. I think thousands would disagree, but I'm going to go with it as well. So here we go. Good. So why do we do this? Is, as you can see here, this is an example of an inbox here. Now, where he had his headline, and we talked about the day one of getting your headline sorted, in the second part to this, you can see, hey, Richard, I see we both work in the podcast world. So this is now example. I thought it would be good, and then ... So you're only going to see the first part of these, but by him saying I help creators effectively market their audio content to their email list, and then he's saying, and he said, hey, Richard, you can see actually it takes up a little bit of space, that. So I'd probably say just have one hey. I don't know, maybe that's just now that it stand up. I see we both work in the podcast world, so that's some semi-familiar ask, so it does work quite well. And then I click onto it, and then he'll say, I see we both work in the podcast world. I thought it'd be good to connect. As such, I've decided not to send you a generic LinkedIn invite, which, by the way, is definitely going to be his generic LinkedIn invite. But you know, he's maybe kind of, you know, oh, go on then, Pete. Fingers crossed. Again, I thought it was quite good, right? You know, fingers crossed. Like, it's a bit different. Hopefully that gives you a bit of a feel for something like that. So it is intriguing, and when you get there, you get, oh, piece, yeah, okay. Now I don't actually work in the podcast world, so it is definitely just him automating that out. But touche, a fisherman knows another fisherman, so I connected with him. But it's a nice example, right? Good. So this is your opportunity, my friend. So the first big thing you're going to do today is tuck into that opportunity. You're going to connect with 20 target audience members using the connection message that you'll write today. Okay. And if you want to share your connection message on the thing that's tagged at the top of the group, please do. And you can be able to do that. Okay. Cool. What's the next bit when you get a yes from people? So the next piece is, as the whole point of this is to get people to come back and say yes. Remember the message that we said first, if I go back to this, is here. So this is the message. I would love to schedule a call next week so I can show you more, question mark. I'm not sending them a calendar link on that DM that I'm sending out to people. I'm just saying I would love to schedule a call next week for this, right? Okay, so then we go back to this, and then we can go back into this. So the point is, when someone says yes, then we get this. I just had out the corner of my eye, Dawn said, if you have the free LinkedIn, isn't there a limit to the amount of connection request messages you can send per month? And yes, there is. So if you haven't got the ability to send any more messages with an actual message name on it, because you're not on premium or any of the other tools, then what you've got to do is just send a blank connection request and use your headline, which is why it's important to get your headline up to shape. Use your headline as the calling card, because when you have a blank message, it will it's all you've got. It's all you've got. Okay. So still hit your 20. Do as many of the actual messages that you can. If you're on premium, great, you can just keep on using it and putting your message in there, and then you can at least still get your 20, even if you can't do a message, just go blank, right? And then when someone does connect, you can then send that connection message. So you can still say, hey, thanks for connecting. How are things in this crazy upside down world, right? And so you would use that first message to then start that conversation with someone. Cool. So here's the reply template.
Sorry, Richard, did you, when you're saying just, sorry, when you're saying just go blank, are you saying just press, what do you do? What do you mean by just go blank?
Press connect.
Don't send a message at all, just press connect.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't mean just like stand there and close your eyes. But the no, just press connect. There you go. And then it would just be send without note.
Without a note.
Yeah. You would be able to send with a note, right? That's no worries. Obviously, if you can do, then it's there. And if you come up against this where someone says follow, you've just, what I would do, and by the way, what you don't want to do is too many searches. So I always right click in a new tab, because every time you search, you may then run out of searches that you can do if you're on the free one. This happens if you're on the free. So right click, open tab. So you're always going back to the same search results without clicking off, seeing someone, clicking back and searching again. And then I can see Shay here. And so then what I would do is look at him and go to more, because not follow, I'll go to more and then press connect like this. And then I'd be going into here and I would be adding a note, and I'd be putting the actual message into there. Or if I can't, then I'd just be doing a DM or connection request directly from there. Again, we want to not be following people. We want to be connecting with people. That's the whole point. Lovely. Good stuff. Okay. So let's head on back to the presentation here. So this is what I would say is a nice way to respond when someone actually says, yes, let's have a booking. Because what we want to do is get them to book into our meeting link, because we don't want to ask them for their meeting link, and we don't want to say, oh, great, does Tuesday at 4 o'clock work? Because it never, they might say, oh no, does this work? And then before you know it, back and forth, you just lose momentum. So make sure they're booking into your calendar. And you might have your calendar in Calendly or High Level or whatever it is, but make sure they book into your calendar. And you say something along these lines, such as, great, I look forward to it. Probably the best way to find space in both our diaries is via the below link. I hope that's okay and easy. So let's break this down. You can say, great, I look forward to the meeting. And then you're saying probably the best way to find space in both of our diaries, so you're saying, hey, it's kind of like a mutually thing. And then you're going, I hope that's okay and easy. Now, most people are going to find it's easy, no problem at all, but you're just being attentive and making sure that it's not like, hey, you book into my diary because I'm the big dog and you should find a place for me. It's around that. So you just sometimes people are like, oh, you want me to book into your diary? I haven't got time for that. But you're just being a little bit more kind of, friendly and nice, right? So you're sympathetic, and then you give them the diary there. So here we go. So let's chuck this into the chat. Feel free to do that. It'd be quite nice to have like a little document that you're creating, maybe that you've got your messages in. Why we do this, guys, is that we have this thesis within $1 Million Sprint is about TNAD. So try it, nail it, automate it, delegate it. And there's nothing more true in this process, because trying it is you doing this challenge with me. Nailing it is when you're getting bookings into your diary and it's working and you've tweaked that messaging. Automate it, well, we can talk to you about automating your connection requests and messaging through tools, and then delegate it. Once you've got that automation, so the most amount of human is taken out of it, then you can give this to a VA, and the VA can then manage the whole end-to-end system. You can then pop out through the top, confident that actually the words that your automations and your delegated VA are using are your words, because you perfected it first, you nailed it first. And that's why it's super important to get and do the hard work now, which you all guys are doing, which is commendable, to get that messaging right and the system right, to then stop yourself from having to do it forever, right? So that's the game plan. Good. I know we've all probably used a Calendly or something similar, but I want to show you kind of a bit of a, I would say, almost advanced way of setting it up, or just doing the little bits that are the bits that probably aren't done on many calendars, and I think make a real difference, right? And for people who use High Level, by the way, just for complete clarity, I've shifted from Calendly to High Level. I really love High Level. High Level is a all-in-one software. You can have everything from your email marketing to your websites to your your calendar booking all in the one system. But probably for simplicity to show you just this calendar piece, because most people use Calendly, I'll show you this. So when you're setting up an appointment, I'm not going to show you how to set up an appointment because most of you have done that. But what we want to talk about is workflows and making sure that you set up workflows properly so you are getting reminder emails and messaging out to your audience so their show up rate for these events are far higher, right? So we want to help you to qualify and get good show up rates. So when we ask people to do bookings, what I would say to you is make sure that when they're booking into your calendar, have additional fields in here that will help you to disqualify people and actually cancel the meeting before even doing it. And we cancel loads of meetings all the time because the people aren't qualified, right? So in terms of this form, what would you say in the chat? Just let me know in the chat, which are the two, one or two fields that we can use to disqualify someone? What would you say are the things that we're using here that will help us disqualify it? Who can see? So by someone finished this film, what are we using to disqualify? Great, yeah, website and 12 months, right? I love that, yeah. So it's these ones. I personally know that if I see someone's website, I can pretty much tell you if they're going to be good or not for me. But then again, some people don't have websites, and actually, that doesn't mean that we couldn't possibly work with them. So by getting an understanding of where they'd like their business to be 12 months from now, that gives me a really great understanding that, say they've got a website and they've got ambition to be somewhere in 12 months, that allows me to go, yeah, that sounds like the right sort of person for me, right? So having some fields in there that are designed specifically that if you get an answer from the person who books it, then you can very quickly remove it. And also the point being is that conversation, remember when we're booking this meeting, you've gone out to them and say, hey, let me get to your point. I want to talk to you about this product. They're then booking and then they're telling you a little bit more about them. It's all part of the warming up journey for them, knowing that they're booking a call to discuss buying your thing as opposed to a virtual coffee to have a little chat, right? And so that's where you're getting really direct. So this is why this is a direct campaign. And that's why we're using this type of hardcore qualifying, okay? So here's some ideas that you might use if you wanted to think about this. Things such as, what is your biggest priority right now? Could be one of the things. Where would you like to be in 12 months from now? How big is your team? So if you're an HR business, you don't want to be working with people who are sort of 5 staff, so how big is your team can really help, because that might give you a better idea. Or if you do team leadership, knowing how big their team is could actually give you a bit of an insight if they're actually going to be good for you. Website address, obviously. What have you tried in the past and what happened? What does success look like? So what have you tried in the past and what has happened is quite good for things like marketing, or if you're doing like health and fitness. So let me just copy this and stick this into the chat. So there we go. Perfect. Good stuff. So you can have a bit of a play with that. And let me just jump in. Come on. There we go. Good stuff. So those are sort of questions. Now, the other thing is that we want to do a personal email to the booking follow-up, right? So once someone books, we want to be able to make sure that it has this email. So we actually can make sure that we don't just confirm the booking, but Calendly will automatically then start to warm people up. So when we do this, we have an email that will go out to people to say, great to catch up on LinkedIn. Looking forward to seeing you on the 1st of February. Details are below. And then you can start to see, hey, these are the details of the actual campaign. So the booking details, the Zoom link, and then a message that says, in the meantime, I have the below training for you. And that training can help people as they go towards you. So if you've got some assets that you can give to people beforehand, and I can just share this with you. Here we go. And I'll just, again, share this in the chat. You guys can get the slides, but it's useful to maybe just copy and paste a lot of this out into a document. These training assets give you the ability to have to put into the workflows when you're in Calendly. So when we're thinking about workflows, you can copy this straight in, and having these resources means that when people turn up to my one-to-ones, they have already pre-watched a lot of the content and like, oh, okay, that's really good. Yeah, I like the look of that. I like the sound of that. And they'll watch it and they will come into the sessions pre-warned with what we do. So having that in your locker can be really, really useful. So think about not just sending reminder emails, but sending reminder emails with homework, so that in the meantime, going out. So thinking about really updating the workflows. If you want to know how to do that, just jump into Calendly, or High Level does the same. And in workflows, you can have here, so email reminder 1 hour before, text message reminders, emails, you can have them all set up. So making sure that when these goes out, you've got these bits of homework in that they can actually read and see. So if we can see here, edit here, and you can see here, have a quick look underneath the bonnet of our business by watching this video beforehand, right? So it's like giving people, I have a quick look here. So it's sort of like, hey, looking forward to seeing you in an hour. If you've got time beforehand, here's a quick video to watch. And you wouldn't believe how many people actually do watch that for the 20 minutes before the meeting, because they're like, oh, okay, cool. I'll have a quick watch of that. I'll get myself a tea, coffee ready, and then bam, the meeting's there. Works really, really well. Good. So here's a reminder for today. So priority is hit the 100 club. So that's 20 connection requests a day, 20 connection requests today, and 80 DMs to new first degree connections. So that's going to be 80 yesterday, 80 today. And then if you've got time, set up your Calendly with a little bit more of that kind of pre-homework before your meeting. Get your pre-meeting email sorted, and you'll be there, right? So great. And I'm not quite sure what I was talking about in terms of it's important to understand this, but that are the actions. So a bit of a longer session today, but I hope that has helped everybody. I know there's quite a lot to take on, but just to kind of clarify, just a simple connection request message. And if you run out of credits for that, send a blank one. Do your 80, because your 80 will then allow you to hit 100 today. So you did 80 yesterday, 80 today, and you also do your 20 connection requests, and then it's rinse and repeat. Then the final part is just review how your calendar gets booked. Review how you send some pre-work to people and some resources, and actually think about updating that. Really do a bit of research. Today's a good day to do a little bit of due diligence on how your meetings are booked. Good. If you're shooting off, great to see you. And I'm sticking around for further conversations. I will say, if anybody's on here who hasn't had one of me or the team review your profile, your LinkedIn profile, we do. And it's kind of, if you've had a review already, it's only, it's not to have a secondary review. We obviously otherwise would end up just coaching you guys as our full-time jobs for free. So just please be sympathetic of that. But if you have not had us go onto your LinkedIn profile and review it yet, then I would love to do that. We offer a free one-to-one for anybody who is part of our LinkedIn for Breakfast community, and I will just put the chat in here. In it, we'll look at your headline, your banner, how your thing's set up for success. The link's in the chat there now, and we'll look at exactly how to get your profile from being just like an online CV or not really being very focused to actually being a lead generating machine. So jump into that profile audit, book that now. And they're free, they're limited. There's actually not that many sessions there, but we'd love to see you on that. Good. Albert, over to you.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Sorry, I
Sorry, I
joined.
said Albert. Sorry, alert. Sorry, I don't know.
Yeah,
My
it's
dyslexic
okay.
brain. I'm so sorry. Alert. Go over to you. Sorry.
It's okay. I'm joined a bit late today. But I have a question. I work as a VA for a coach on Instagram. He actually put me up for the training, so that is why I'm here. And it was for my question comes from the script. Actually, we as offering services, coaching services for people who are looking for a job in the UA, Dubai. And apparently the script is a bit messy. I tried to fix it, but it's not good. And I wanted to share it. I was supposed to share that yesterday, so to get your own feedback, but I didn't get to share that. And second, the other question I have is I try to connect with people. I see that we are looking for job seekers and not business owners. LinkedIn Sales Navigator is a bit hard to get those people looking for a job. So my question is, how then can I be able to reach out to people in that niche?
Okay, so people looking. So what we would do on Sales Navigator, and if you want feedback on the messaging, it's best to chat to post it into the community, because that's where we can give you a little bit more. So on the message on the day one actions, post it there, and that's where we're giving feedback on there. When we get into oh, hang on, this is all the wrong places. If we go into Sales Navigator, there is a search term called open to opportunities. And so if you are, so let me just click off here. So you go to lead filter, you say it was the UAE, right?
Yes.
Oh, no, not industry. So you go geography and United Arab Emirates. Perfect, good stuff. So you press there, and then you would do inverted commas, open to opportunities. There we go. Oh, and if you spell it right, that's going to be useful. Here we go. And then that will give you a whole list of people that somewhere they've added themselves. So here you go. So open to opportunities, seeking new opportunities. These people have said on their profile, open to opportunities somewhere, open to opportunities. There's lots and lots of people into here, and there they are. So you got
All right. Thank you so much.
1.5 you can search. Looking for work is another one you can search for, like that, and then bam, there's another 1,500 opportunities who would be different, and these people looking for work, looking for work. So yeah, really good way of finding people who are looking for stuff. Hope that helps.
All right. I appreciate it. I'll
Over to you.
and then get some feedbacks. Thank you.
Go over to you, Dawn.
Hi, I changed I changed my outreach message along with my bio, and the reason I did that, I was trying to get, I guess, to create a different USP. You mentioned that at the end of your call yesterday.
Yeah.
And I wondered whether you would, and I thought, yeah, that's what's missing. So I wondered if you would have a look. I did put it in the day one actions, so it's towards the bottom of that. I wondered if you could have a look for me, please.
Let's have a look.
And I'm not going to lie, I didn't send a single outreach message because I didn't want to mess it up. I wanted to be clearer before I did that.
Well, sometimes it's about you've got to polish it. You polish it as you're doing stuff, right? So, like Richard said, who had spent 8 hours doing his 80 lesson, which is fair play. He refined it over time, and actually because he started doing it, then he started refining it. So, helping leading finance services become more successful. So becoming more successful is a bit bland. Confidence, mindset, motivation, and focus to realize your potential. So now we're talking about financial leaders, and then we're talking about realize your potential. So you kind of missing. It's like the second or the third person or whatever it is. You're talking to you, and then you're talking to leaders. High performing leadership. Okay, so just get a little bit more bolshy with more successful. Like really kind of help them to understand what that might be. Um, I'd like to stand out a bit more. All right, sorry, that's not the message. Okay. What is this? Oh, this is the about section. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, look, if I was to kind of, make things really easy in terms of bio,
Yeah.
I've actually just completely changed mine. I just got rid of mine. And I think maybe I might add a little bit more in, but the big thing for me is that when someone, well, that's not me. When someone comes down to my bio, this is my about section. My about section is one sentence that says free LinkedIn profile audit in my feature section. That is it. Because all I want to do is get people to here, because this is where I can add value, where people can book in and get some more time from me, right? So that's the thing that I'm looking to do and help people with. So when we're talking about the about section, you might just start off with a call to action that says there. And then if you want to, you can then go and expand more and say, but I would never start with your hockey thing, because you're not selling that. I would start with I help people, my passion is helping people in financial services, stand up and be noticed. My passion has come from my experience in hockey and coaching people there and boom, 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 boom. So you can add a bit more in there, but you're not trying to talk to people about being hockey umpires. You're trying to
No.
talk to people about being great, achievers in the financial service industry.
So thank you for that. So in terms of the about section, I can change that. I mean, I have changed it. I don't know how many times. It's driving me nuts every time I
That's
look at
okay.
it.
It's perfecting, isn't it?
Yeah. Um, so I just wondered whether, because some people might respond to the change management piece. I've been in the corporate world for more than 20 years. But then other people respond to bloody hell, she's coached at international level. That's amazing.
I just think I think you can lead with that, like, because being in the in an industry for 20 years is fine, but it's not really much of a
Yeah.
standout. So the coaching side, I would say, is high. But you want to have both.
I put my outreach
I was gonna say that, but I mean these, we're not really dealing with the big thing here. The big thing is
Yeah.
the outreach message, right? Is that below here? Is there one more?
Yes, I think.
Okay. Hi. As a financial service, as a leader, I know. So I'll get to the point. So I think get to the point before that. So I don't want to say so. If you feel overwhelmed, like me. Balance, focus, and calm. Yeah, so I feel you're kind of losing your flow a bit with this.
Yeah.
I think you've got to get back to the template. That's the simplest way to do this. Get back to the template, because you want to just get a little bit more. Hi, I don't want to take so just use this sentence. Don't change that, and don't change this. Okay, so don't change the top, don't change the bottom, and just work the middle. Okay, so I'm looking to work, with X, Y, and Z. Don't change the middle. So sorry, change the top, change the bottom, and just change these two middle bits. That's what I say. So just go back to that template and rework it. And be, get your USP in there, but rework it. That's what I'd say.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Cool. And then don't worry about getting me to sign it off. I give you permission to go send it. So don't worry. You don't need, you gotta start sending some. So don't worry about getting it double checked. Send some out because that will help you just to go, oh, I've got to send this. So just work it through. Keep the top and bottom sentence, change the middle to, do reference the coaching stuff in there, but be more direct. Follow my template and you'll be fine. Cool. So I've got to do the last one for Jimmy, and then I've got to get started with my next meeting. Jimmy, go for it very quickly.
Yes. So my question is, I'm just a little bit confused on where your weekly moment fits into the outreach emails, because I get the impression that's like the center thing we want to drive people to warm them up. So would I be looking to? So is it we're still trying to book them into a meeting, or is there an option to invite them to the weekly moment instead?
So I wouldn't be doing this campaign as well as a weekly moment cold outreach campaign. You got to have one objective. So if your objective is to drive traffic and attendance at an event, that's your focal point for your outreach message. If you're looking to drive appointments from first degree connections, that's your outreach message. The straight to the point one's your outreach message. Don't chase two rabbits, you'll get none. Chase the one rabbit.
Okay. So basically, this campaign is for booking appointments. I would need to do it. So I could have a campaign then that is really just on getting people into the weekly moment.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I'd be focused at that point. That's cool. All right, I've got to call it here because it's 10 o'clock and I've got to jump onto my next call. So $1 Million Sprinters, if you are sticking around, do stay on this link. If anybody